presentation is on the Mini Cooper. Why I like this car. It's interesting because there was lots of information. There's actually a surprising amount of information about this car. And it's unique. There's no other car like it in the history of cars. And it's fast. And I think fast cars are cool. The Mini Cooper. The Mini Cooper was made by John Cooper in 1961. It is classified as a small economy car. Small, it was a small car. It was only like 3 meters long, and economical, meaning the average person could afford this car. It was very fuel efficient, meaning it didn't use much gasoline. And it was based on the original Mini by Alec Issigonis in 1959. John Cooper. John Cooper was born on July 17, 1923. He made and raced cars before he even made the Mini Cooper. What I think is amazing about his company is that his company started from a small garage, which he started with his father when they were making inexpensive single-seat race cars. Rally racing. Rally racing began in January 1911. There are two main types of rallies, stage rallies and road rallies. Stage rallies are races held on arenas, like cars that go around a track. They're man-made, so that's why they're called stage rallies. Road rallies, on the other hand, are races held on roads that are closed for that race, and normally it would be used for regular car driving. Rally racing is held in many different places around the world. Mini Cooper rally racing. The examples of what the Mini Cooper raced in is, for example, the Monte Carlo, the Prescott, and the Dakar. It was very popular and raced these kind of races because it was lightweight, and it was very speedy because of its lightweight and good traction, which means it could stay on the road really well. It didn't have to slow down at turns, and if it didn't have to slow down at turns, that meant it didn't have to slow down at turns. It meant it could stay and accelerate at the speed it was going. Here's a clip.
Pat Moss won 2 European rallies in the 1997 Mini Cooper in 1962. But it was Paddy Hopkirk's Monte Carlo rally victory of 1964 in a 1071 Cooper S which made the car a legend. Drivers too were superstars. In the next 3 years, Timo Mäkinen and Rauno Aaltonen added 2 more Monty victories, plus wins in the RAC, the Alpine, the Thousand Lakes and the Tulip.
And what
In
surprised people about
the Mini won the European Championship, the highest honour in rallying in those pre-World Championship days. Disqualification from the 1966 Monty on trumped-up charges proved, in fact, to be another bonus. The rally world knew that the organisers had placed their own interpretation on the rules to allow a French victory.
What surprised people about the Mini Cooper a lot is that it raced against lots of things, and it doesn't even really look like a rally racing car, but it won many races. And another thing is that it raced in the Monte Carlo. The Monte Carlo was one of the main races that the Mini Cooper raced. It won the Monte Carlo 4 times in a row, in 1964, in 1965, and in 1966 and 1967. The third time, though, it was disqualified in 1966 for wrong headlight bulbs. I think it is strange to be disqualified for such a strange thing as that. And it's strange because Monte Carlo is right on the borderline of France, and many French cars raced the Monte Carlo, and the judges of this race were French. So I think that is the main reason that the Mini Cooper was disqualified, because the French wanted the French cars to win. And it's still racing the Monte Carlo, and it still races the Monte Carlo, but it hasn't won since. Now I would like to show you a model of the Mini Cooper. This model specifically is the 1967 Monte Carlo Rally winner. And notice that notice it has 2 spare tires on the front, on the very top, and it had these 2 spare tires and it was required because in old days when they raced, all the repairs had to be done during the race. And if you had more than 2 flat tires or a repair that you couldn't handle, then you couldn't really participate in the rest of the race. And also notice that it has 4 extra lights, adding to the 2 headlights. There are many different types of Mini Coopers. For example, the Mini Pickup, the Mini Moke, and the Mini Van. The Mini Pickup is like a pickup truck, almost exactly like it, only much, much, much smaller. So, if you wanted a pickup truck, but you didn't want a big pickup truck, you just wanted a small pickup truck, you could get a Mini Pickup. A Mini Moke is a small Jeep-like car that was intended for the British Army, but instead became a proper Australian car. I think it became a popular Australian car because Australia is very deserty, and it can be and fast desert cars can be very handy in the desert. A minivan is a very small van, basically, and it's probably not like the minivans that you most know about. This van is really minivan, and if you wanted a van but you didn't want a big van, you could just get a small van like this. And they all weigh, and the Mini Pickup and the Minivan weigh about a ton, and the Mini Moke weighs about half a ton. And so they're very light, and so that was probably a big factor. Suspension and engine. The Mini Cooper had a 4-cylinder engine, which is a regular car engine, but it went fast because of its lightweight and good traction. And the hydroelastic rubber suspension was a good suspension because it really hung on to the road, and it didn't really let go of the road, so it was very stiff suspension. And it was front-wheel drive, which was good for the good handling that it had. The last Mini Cooper was a Mark 7, and up to that point, 5 million Mini Coopers had been made. And you can tell that it was very popular, and it seemed like it was that almost every single famous British person had a Mini Cooper. It was almost like if you were famous and you were British, you had to have a Mini Cooper. It was the year 2000. And now, you probably see new Mini Coopers nowadays. They're called Minis, not really Mini Coopers much anymore. And they're made by BMW. Biblical perspective. I chose the verse Acts 20:24. However, I consider my life worth nothing to me. My only aim is to finish the race and complete the task the Lord Jesus has given me, the task of testifying to the good news of God's grace. I like this verse because it says that we should just aim on finishing and finishing the race instead of concentrating on other things. I like how the Mini Cooper, it didn't concentrate on what it had a small engine or anything. It just concentrated, and that other cars that had bigger engines, but it concentrated on what it could do. In my own life, I want to not compare to what others can do and I cannot, but what I can do. Thank you for watching my presentation.